Hey, this is Josh from Josh Builds, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build a quadcopter. Now for this I used 4 motors and some propellers that I got online. I'll leave a link for you guys in the description. And I also used some styrofoam. Now I'm going to start off by drawing up the shape of the arms for our quadcopter. And these arms, or wings, whatever you want to call them, we're going to have the motors mounted onto the ends of them. So I go ahead and trace out one on a foam board, and then once I have that done, I'm going to replicate it and do 3 more that are exactly the same. Now I'm going to go ahead and take one of the motors and glue it onto one of the arms. And then after that we'll go ahead and do that for the other 3 arms. Now once we have that done, I'm going to take this foam ball that I got from the dollar store and I'm going to glue each arm to it. Now it's important that you make sure it's perfectly symmetrical. Everything needs to be at the right angles. You don't want the angles to differ between arms, or else you're going to have an off-center lift. Now we're going to go ahead and put propellers on. If you look at the propellers, you'll notice some of them spin in different directions. So you end up having 2 clockwise and 2 counterclockwise. So the 2 red ones in our case are clockwise and the 2 black ones are counterclockwise. And basically the reason why we have them spin in opposite directions is so that the quadcopter doesn't end up twisting. The opposite directions of those that they spin in cancel out any rotation. Now we're going to go ahead and glue the wires down. So now it's time to go ahead and wire it up. At first I just attach all the positives to the positives and all the negatives to the negatives, but I found that didn't really work very well. It didn't give me much control. So in the end I changed up the way that it's shown here, and each set of 2 motors has its own 2 wires. So in the end we can control each separately. And as before, the motors are just connected to each other. The sets of 2 are connected to each other in parallel, and the other set of 2 are connected to another set of wires. Now I'm going to hook it up to a USB cable just as a test power source. And now, having each set of motors hooked up to a USB cable, we can plug them in and see how it works. And as you can see, we don't have too much control. It kind of goes all over the place. So now after this we're going to see if we can fix that up a bit and maybe give it a little more control. Okay, go. So back to the wires again. I'm going to make a little controller. So for this I grabbed 2 potentiometers, or variable resistances, and I'm going to attach these to the wires that connect to the motors. Now I'm going to add some switches in here. These are just going to be some on-off switches so we can control on-off and how fast they're spinning. And so basically what we want to do is we want to hook up the potentiometer in parallel with the power source, and in parallel as well with the set of motors that it's going to control. And then we're just going to have a switch in series with those, just so the switch can turn it on and off. After soldering these connections to make them permanent, we can now go ahead and attach the batteries to our remote. Once the batteries are attached, we'll just glue them to the bottom side of our remote. and then after that we can go ahead and test. As you can see, we can turn on the switch to let one set of motors go on, and then we can use the variable resistor to slow the speed of these motors down a little bit. Now let's go ahead and test it out. As you can see, the stability still isn't great, so we decided to just make a little guide for the quadcopter, and as you can see, it can easily fly. It's just the stability that it lacks. So my plan is to go ahead and do another version of this, maybe control each motor separately or have some electronic control system so that I can control this a little better. So stick around for the next few videos where I'll be working on a control system for this quadcopter here so that hopefully we can get a little more of a controlled flight. Thanks for watching.